What is going on, guys? Daniel Short here, host of the Short Sports Show, and we have a jam-packed show for you guys. It is Friday, September 18th, 2015, NFL season, obviously up and going, college football up and going. We've had very interesting weeks in college football, actually, because we're going to talk about college football first, of course, as we always do. I need to get my picks. I have my picks with me. There we go. I got my picks with me. Because I'm going against my dad on it as well. I went 0-1 last week against him on the games we picked. Overall, let's see. They won. I don't think I got anybody. Oh, I picked. No. Let's see. I picked Tennessee last week, and I picked Mississippi State. That is what screwed me. Out of the top 25, I picked everybody else that won. Oh, and I also picked Boise State. They lost. And I picked Oregon. And, so that week is over with. I could toss that to the side. But this week, brand new, fresh week, and a very exciting week. Finally, now into college football, we're getting into the games that actually matter. You know, SEC teams are starting to go at it. They started last week, but, more and more teams are starting to. There's less cupcake games now. Now we're getting into normal FBS competition, to ranked competition, to just next week and in a couple of weeks after, into the conference games, which is exciting, always exciting. So we're going to talk a lot about that. We don't, surprisingly this week, we really do not have a lot to talk about, as in any news going around the country for college football and the league for the NFL. Not a whole lot of news, nothing major other than just recapping the games, which we will do, and previewing this upcoming games. What I am going to end up doing, though, got my schedule fixed. There will be a show. We are going back to 2 shows a week. Every Monday morning and Friday morning, we will have a show, the Short Sports Show, on Monday mornings and Friday mornings. Monday mornings are going to be probably the quickest of the shows because I also, not only do I go to work, I got school too, guys. I start school next week, so I have to manage all of that combined. But it's okay. We're going to get it done. And I'm not going to rush through it. If I find where it's just too much or not really working, then what I might do is on Sunday nights, I might do a show and then just upload it on Monday morning. And so if I need to add anything to the show, I can, and stuff like that. So that is what we will end up doing, in case it gets too much. But I think I think we'll be fine, guys. I think we'll be fine. Before we start the show, we will talk about one little news, which does involve high school football. And it's that. It's gone viral. Everybody knows about it. It's about San Antonio J High School, where those 2 players speared the referee behind the back, and a lot of controversy around it on why they did it, what were the reasons for it, and stuff like that. So apparently, just this morning, it was released that those players did it because they were told by the coach to do it. Now, remind you guys, these kids, I believe, are juniors and seniors, or both seniors. I don't know for sure. I know one of them was a top recruited safety. He had scholarship offers to many, many schools, including TCU. Don't know if that's still going to be intact. But to me, even if you're a freshman in high school, I think it's common sense that maybe we shouldn't do this. Again, they were told by the coach, I believe the assistant coach, to go and hit the referee. Both of them. To me, I think it's common sense. I understand if you don't do it, you have a chance to get benched, you get yelled at. But if that does happen, think about what you could do. It's probably going to be unpopular, but you are on the good side of it. Colleges, especially the safety that was being highly recruited, are going to look at it. Okay, look, he was told to do something that was wrong. He didn't do it. This guy is a trustworthy guy. We would love to have him on our program still. And if he gets benched or something happens, obviously he wouldn't get benched, because if that went viral, that would have gone viral had he said, no, I don't want to do this, and the coach benched me and made me do unnecessary workouts because he was mad that I didn't do it, blah, blah, blah. You are okay. Yeah, you might get, crybaby, whatever. No, that's better than now college is looking at you like you can't control your anger, or yeah, you were told to do something, but that was the wrong thing to do, and you still did it, even though you knew it was the wrong thing to do. Why should we have you on our team? Why should we give you a scholarship when there's someone else out there that's doing nothing but hard work and trying his best to get a scholarship and not making stupid decisions? So, that, to me, it's common sense. Even if the head coach tells you to go hit the referee because either he said something racial or you just don't like him or whatever it is, you just don't do it. It's that simple. But apparently it wasn't. So those players end up obviously hitting the referee. Who knows what's going to happen with that? I'll follow more into it later on. But that was just some news that just happened this morning, saying that those kids were told, and I don't know. I think that's just a little excuse to save themselves, but honestly, bad decision all the way around. But let's get into college football news. First, follow me on Twitter at @short_sports247. And let's get on with it. Oregon quarterback Vernon Adams Jr. confirmed Wednesday that he broke his finger against Eastern Washington and re-injured it against Michigan State. Adams spoke with the media after practice on Wednesday and called himself, quote, a game-time decision for Saturday's game against Georgia State. The Ducks released a depth chart Tuesday night that listed Adams as the starter for Saturday's game, though he's currently splitting reps at the starting position with Jeff Locke. This is what Vernon Adams told reporters, saying, quote, I can definitely play with it throughout the season because I played in it in the last game. I've got to keep rehabbing it, icing it, and making sure the swelling goes down. Hopefully it gets to 100% as soon as possible. So not really good news for Oregon. Now, watching that Oregon game, as you guys know, I'm on that broke people budget. So I am not allowed to watch that many college football games. I try to squeeze places around so I can watch some of these games. Thankfully, YouTube is a great place, and there are some really great people that are willing to risk copyright strikes and possible federal crimes. I don't know if it's federal crimes, probably not. But uploading these games, a few hours or a day after the game has happened, I'm able to go back and watch the whole games. I watched the Notre Dame games. I've watched the Oregon games. I've watched all these games and plus more throughout this whole week. And just to recap on everything. I even watched TCU's full game, even though it was against Stephen F. Austin, 70-7 victory. I still watched it from beginning to end. I'm very proud of myself. So hopefully I can win the lottery or something and get cable or something. It's too pricey. But anyways, watching the Oregon game, man, did they have an opportunity to win that game. How you overthrow Byron Marshall shocks me. Byron Marshall, one of the fastest players in college football, very electrifying wide receiver, and you missed him in the end zone. And Ducks fans, I'm sorry. I really wanted Oregon to win. Obviously, I picked them, and I like Oregon a lot. I like Vernon Adams a lot. It was just really disappointing to see that he missed that open of a receiver. But it happened. Michigan State, obviously a really good team. They proved it. They held this team down. Obviously there were missed opportunities on both areas, both teams. But I really thought Oregon could have had this game. Sadly, it did not happen. Michigan State did get the victory. Now, with Vernon Adams, honestly, this is Georgia State. What I would do, if it feels like, if you took one hit to the hand or you're scrambling and you just happen to take a shoulder pad to the finger or something, whatever, or you have to dive and it gets hit in any type of way, and you think, okay, it might get a lot worse. if I take a hit there. This is Georgia State. This game will not matter. Oregon will put this game away with or without Vernon Adams. That's when it comes to your mind saying, should I really play this game? I don't think, if Jeff Lockett goes out there, he goes like 17 for 17, 200-something yards, 4 touchdowns. Everybody's hyped because, Oregon scores another 60-point game or whatever. I don't think Vernon Adams' job is in jeopardy. It will become in jeopardy if he goes out there, does whatever, whether he struggles or he does good, and he takes a hit to that finger, comes out, Jeff Lockett does whatever he does. Then that's when his job becomes in jeopardy, because not only did you possibly make your finger worse, if you struggled a little bit, then Jeff Lockett comes in there, cleans it up. Then there's going to be, is there quarterback controversy in Oregon? Is there this and that? This way, avoid the whole situation. Sit out against Georgia State. Sit out. This team went 1-11 last year, something like that. It's a Sun Belt team. It's in Eugene. You're fine. Sit out, rehab, because you got a tougher schedule coming down in a few weeks, both in Eugene and away. I'd rather have my finger 100% than 80, 90% because I wanted to play against Georgia State. To me, it's common sense there. We'll have to see. If I was head coach Mark Helfrich, or if I was Vernon Adams, I'd just say, you know what? I'm going to sit out. Let's rehab this finger, make sure it's 100%. Jeff Lockett, let him get out, get some reps in, and do his thing. And Vernon Adams, that's when you got to feel confidence in yourself and say, no matter what Jeff Lockett does out there, I have confidence in myself that I will remain the starting quarterback the rest of the season. That's just what you got to do. And if you can do that, NFL scouts, they're going to be looking at that. But that's just me. That's my 2 cents I'm going to throw in there for Vernon Adams and the Oregon Ducks. Ole Miss is bracing to be without All-American offensive tackle Laramie Tunsil for several more games, including this Saturday's contest at Alabama, which is at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. How ridiculous is that? 8:15 kickoff Central Time, 9:15 Eastern. I don't know if Alabama's Eastern Time or not. It's probably a stupid question. They probably are. But why? Why 9:15? Really? This game's not going to end till like 12 or 1? What's wrong with the 7:30 kickoff or 6:30, 7:30, whatever? There's nothing to do in Alabama anyways. I mean, God, you really think people are going to be that busy? They're going to get off of work, that's for sure. Work probably closes 3 hours before kickoff anyways for tailgating in Alabama, but whatever. Anyways, back to Ole Miss and Laramie Tunsil. The reason he's going to be sitting out and possibly even more games is because the NCAA continues its investigation into allegations he violated the NCAA rules. The NCAA has conducted an investigation into Ole Miss athletic department that that has dragged on for more than 3 years now. The part of the investigation involving Tunsil heated up this summer when he and his mother's estranged husband, Lindsey Miller, had a physical altercation that prompted both to file domestic violence charges. Afterward, Miller claimed Tunsil had been riding around in cars with agents and had accepted impermissible benefits from agents and officials at Ole Miss. So basically what he did is he had a car, had a loaner vehicle that he received in Oxford, Mississippi, while his original car was in a repair shop. But that's not the problem. The problem is Tunsil allegedly kept the loaner vehicle for more than an extended period of time before returning it to the dealership, and the NCAA has deemed it an extra benefit. That is the problem. The problem is not that he had a loaner vehicle while his car was in a repair shop. It's that he kept it longer than what you're supposed to. That's where it becomes a problem, because now NCAA is thinking, all right, that dealership, someone's an Ole Miss fan, or they're all Ole Miss fans, and they know how important you are. You're an All-American offensive tackle, most likely a top 25, 15 pick. in the NFL draft. We're going to help you out. Don't worry. Whenever your car is ready, let us know. We'll take back the vehicle. Until then, keep it. That's the problem. And, of course, you know how the NCAA is. They're going to look into every little thing. And if they can take you down, they're going to take you down. And that's what's happening with Ole Miss right now. 3 years. 3 years. The athletic department has been in an investigation. Crazy. Think something that's really crazy. And I thought I'd just throw in there because, again, there wasn't a whole lot. Okay, there's one more news story after this, but I just had to throw it in there because this is what basically prompted the SEC and now future conferences, including now the Big 12, to have that transfer policy where you can't have anybody with any trouble, basically. Defensive lineman Jonathan Taylor, who was dismissed from Georgia and Alabama, yes, University of Georgia and the University of Alabama, after arrest on allegations of domestic violence, is now on the football team at Southeastern Louisiana, which is an FCS school. Taylor is not eligible to play until 2016, which is his final season of eligibility. This was all what happened to him. Started in July 2014 when he was arrested on an incident in which he allegedly assaulted his then girlfriend in a dorm at the University of Georgia. The Bulldogs dismissed him immediately, and he enrolled and played the 2014 season at Copiah Lincoln Community College in Weston, Mississippi. Who cares? Where, according to his attorney, numerous SEC schools began to recruit him again. Of course, Alabama was the one. He enrolled at Alabama on January 7th. Even though he was going through all of this controversy that what happened at Georgia, because of course that got brought back up. He was on the team less than 3 months before being arrested on March 28th when another girlfriend accused him of assaulting her in Tuscaloosa. He was dismissed from Alabama, but 3 days after his arrest, the girlfriend Gina Nwab, I think that's her last name, Nwab, recanted her story and told the police her wounds were self-inflicted. The girlfriend was then arrested for filing a false police report. So, yeah, you took one for the dude, and now you got arrested. And then finally, on July 7th of this year, Taylor pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor count of criminal mischief in Alabama. According to the court documents obtained by Outside the Lines ESPN, Nwab's criminal case for filing a false report was dismissed the same day. So she got back out. This is basically what prompted this SEC rule, to not allow anybody with domestic violence, sexual assault, or anything in that general area. They cannot be from anywhere. I'm not just saying from transfer from Georgia to Alabama, SEC to SEC team. It's anywhere. This person could have played in North Dakota Junior College and transferred to SEC. Nope, can't happen, and it can't happen in the Big 12 either. Should be everywhere. If the SEC and the Big 12 are doing it, given the history of the majority of those teams and how they recruit, you would think the Pac-12, the Big 10, and everybody else would do the same thing. Apparently that hasn't happened. It should happen. I'm sure it will happen fairly soon, maybe starting next season. But I just thought I'd throw it in there because all this came up now. Rutgers football coach Kyle Flood. Let's talk about Rutgers for a little bit. He has now been suspended 3 games and fined $50,000. I know to us that's a lot. To him, not so much. Probably, maybe a little penny, but not too much. For violating university policy by contacting faculty about a player's academic status. University president said Flood circumvented established policies and procedures by emailing faculty member and later scheduling an in-person meeting to discuss the academic standing of former cornerback Nadar Barnwell? Nadar Barnwell? Somewhere around that. Wait a minute. Back to that San Antonio J stuff. Suspended high school football players who hit the ref break silence. Said coach told them, and quote, this is what the coach said to those players. He needs to pay the price. Back to the San Antonio J. That's what happened. That's what they just said. They made a video, I guess. I don't know. I have to check that out later. It's on ESPN. You guys can go check that out. San Antonio J high school football players. Anyways, yeah, so they had to discuss an academic standing of former cornerback Nadir Barnwell. After emailing the faculty member from his personal account, Flood was told by a member of the Rutgers academic advising staff not to contact professors about student athletes. But of course, he still went ahead with the in-person meeting. And according to Rutgers' full investigative report, Flood stated he may have told the advisor that he used his personal email account to avoid an Open Public Records Act request. Problem. Message. Flood and Barnwell both admitted that Flood also made minor changes to a paper that Barnwell submitted to the professor, and who agreed to review it as, quote, partial satisfaction for the requirements of the course the student had already completed. So, in all, Kyle Flood, the head coach of Rutgers, will miss Saturday's game at Penn State, the next week against home against Kansas, and then October 10th, which is, 4 weeks away then? Against Michigan State, on the road at Michigan State. Associate head coach Norris Wilson will serve as the interim coach during Flood's suspension, though Flood is allowed to lead practices during that time. So Kyle Flood has everything normal, except that he was fined $50,000, and he's only suspended during game days. He can't be anywhere around that team on Saturday. He cannot be there. So he can still, Monday through Friday or Sunday through Friday, whatever their practice schedule is, he can still be there when they practice. He still leads the practice. He still does the game film or whatever else he does. But come game day, he cannot be there. Once it's Saturday 12 a.m. to Sunday 12 a.m., he cannot be around the team. So far, 7 Rutgers players have been dismissed from the team. So good job, Kyle Flood. Rutgers already not the best place to go play. It's in New Jersey. Nothing wrong with New Jersey, but when you're looking at Northeastern schools, there's Rutgers and then there's other Northeastern schools. I'd probably go with the other Northeastern schools. Somehow, I don't know how Rutgers got into the Big Ten. To me, I know the Big Ten want to expand, but when you're looking at prestige, I don't know. Rutgers doesn't have a lot. Last news before we go to what to watch for and predictions. Florida will start redshirt freshman quarterback Will Grier in its SEC opener versus Kentucky. Grier and sophomore Trayon Harris split snaps during the first 2 games, with each getting a start. Grier completed 26 of 35 passes for 317 yards and 4 scores, but he also has an interception and a fumble, while Trayon Harris completed 19 of 27 passes for 269 yards and 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Coach Jim McElwain said Wednesday he does not have a timeline for picking the starter for the rest of the season and plans to go with a hot hand. To me, this Florida quarterback situation is really like the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation. You have that scrambler. You have a guy that's more dynamic but doesn't really stay in the pocket too much. And you don't want to start him, which is Trayon Harris and Johnny Manziel. Now, I'm not comparing their talents. I'm just saying there's some of the similarities they have. And then you have Will Grier, who's definitely already better than Josh McCown or whatever his name. And you got them, the pocket passers, the traditional quarterback. And you want to put them at starter. That's why I feel like Jim McElwain really doesn't care about Trayon Harris. I don't think he cares. He doesn't really want him to start. He wants Will Grier to be that starting quarterback for the rest of the time. I really like Trayon Harris. You think about it. I know Grier only has 2 turnovers, but I like Traylon Harris. I think he brings more to the table. I think he's ready to be the starter. But Will Grier is going to get the nod. And maybe this will be good for Traylon. Actually, it's not. I mean, I guess normally you could say, okay, he's going to sit. He's going to learn for a little while. And that could do him some good. But you got a redshirt freshman, Will Grier. Traylon Harris is already a sophomore. I think he redshirted already. I think last year he was a redshirt freshman. So this year, redshirt sophomore, basically been there for 3 years, only played 2. He's really not going to be able to start again if he has to sit unless Will Grier screws up or gets hurt. And I don't see him screwing up that much. So we'll just have to see. But let's go ahead and do our picks for college football. You can follow along. Tweet me at @short_sports 24/7. Mark down your picks of your top 25 teams. Screenshot it because, Twitter doesn't give us that many characters to work with. Screenshot it. Send it to me using the hashtag The Short Sports Show. And, again, tag me in it at @short_sports 24/7. Links are down below. And I just realized I did not make a description for the show. So you're going to have to wait until the show's over with before you see the description. If you're listening to this while it's not live, don't worry about it. It's already there. Let's go ahead and do our picks. Again, last week I went 0-1. I forgot to do week 1. And honestly, week 1 doesn't even matter anyways. It was cupcake games. Probably would have just got them right anyways. Let's go ahead and start. And this is no particular order. This is just how my dad wrote it down on ESPN. Let's go, guys. Clemson at Louisville. That game already happened. I picked Clemson. He picked Louisville, so I'm off to a good start because he beat me last week, so that's good. Next game, Florida State at Boston College. Okay, I think this is in time order, so that's good. Yeah, I think so. I think it's all in time order, so never mind. This is in order. Florida State at Boston College. I wouldn't be shocked to see Boston College keeps it close and might pull an upset. Honestly, something is telling me this game is going to be very, very close. I don't think this will be a blowout game. I think Boston College is going to be prepared for this game. And we'll keep this very, very close. Maybe like a 27, 21, 24, 28 game. Something around that, maybe. But I think Florida State will get the victory. But I am still rooting for Boston College here. UConn at Missouri. Got to go with Missouri there. Nevada at Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M might put 60 on the board this week. Tulsa at Oklahoma. I'm going with the freaking upset. I'm going Tulsa for this victory. Former Baylor offensive coordinator is now at Tulsa. Tulsa can already put some points on the board, and it's not like it's a long drive for Tulsa. So I'm going with Tulsa here. What are they called? The Golden Hurricanes or something like that? I don't know. I think they will get the victory. My dad obviously is picking Oklahoma here. Air Force at Michigan State. I like this matchup. I think Air Force is going to, kind of keep it close in the first half because it's a very short week to learn, try to defend this triple option team. And that's what's probably going to help, Air Force, Navy, Army, and Georgia Tech. What helps them is all these spread offenses that everybody's going to, this high up-tempo speed, spread out the field, move the defenders around. And then you have the triple option in such a short week that you have to prepare for. It's ridiculous, and it's very tough to stop if you don't have the right coaching or the right scheme of players. It's very, very difficult. I think Air Force is going to give Michigan State a run for their money in the first half, but I think Michigan State's offense is just going to be too much for Air Force defense, and Michigan State gets the victory. Northwestern at Duke. Honestly, this is a pretty tough game for me to pick. Duke doesn't have their quarterback from last year, who I really, really liked. I cannot think of his name now. I don't remember. He wore 7. Anthony Boone. Ding, 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 ding. I need a soundboard. I really need a soundboard very badly. I'll look into getting one. Anthony Boone, my favorite quarterback of college football last year. One of my favorites. I liked him. He's no longer there. I think his eligibility was up. And so I really don't know too much about Duke, but I know they recruited pretty well the past couple years. They could Northwestern, I mean, yeah, they beat Stanford, but I think it's more if Stanford's that bad. So I'm going Northwestern here, but Duke, I mean, it's not like it's going to be a big shock Duke beats Northwestern. Georgia State at Oregon, of course, going with the Ducks here. Auburn at LSU, I'm going with LSU. Great game that they had against Mississippi State. Very intense game. That was the one game I have not watched yet, which I will probably and I will watch right after this show. I will watch that game, LSU versus Mississippi State. So I'm not going to go too much in detail with this game because I don't want to say anything stupid. I already do that enough. But I'm going to go LSU here. I told you guys Auburn. Jeremy Johnson, I'm sorry, is not someone I can rely on. He's making too many mistakes. I think the hype stayed with him too long that there should have never been any hype. Auburn is still a talented team. They will still win, of course, 8, maybe 9 games, but LSU will get the victory here. Let's see. Northern Illinois at Ohio State, going with the Buckeyes. Troy at Wisconsin, going with the Cheeseheads, Wisconsin. UTSA at Oklahoma State. I am going with the upset. UTSA, San Antonio Roadrunners. Let's go, baby. Going with the Roadrunners. And I know that's probably a stupid pick, but this is my reasoning. Hear me out. Hear me out real quick, guys. First game of the week, UTSA and Arizona. UTSA keeps it close. They outgain Arizona. Rich Rodriguez offense. UTSA outgains them. Then the next week, which was last week, actually, no, this is week. Yeah. UTSA plays Kansas State at home. I was thinking UTSA. I picked UTSA, even though it wasn't on our picks. I was in my head. I picked UTSA to get the victory there. I was like, all right, if they can keep it close with Arizona, there's no way they don't beat Kansas State. Especially Kansas State lost their starting quarterback for the year, and the quarterback they did start had never played quarterback. I don't believe. I think he was a receiver turned quarterback. And then they get, blown out. They got basically shut out 30-3. Oklahoma State's offense is probably what was one of the most hyped, is one of the worst. Mason Rudolph, whatever his name is. Honestly, I'm going to tell you guys right here. I think it was the number change. Last year he wore 10. This year wears 2. Last year was pretty good for him. This year has been terrible for him. Switch back to 10 if you want to win. Just don't do it during TCU's game because I don't want you to be good. So, yeah, I'm going to go UTSA here. I know it's on the road to Oklahoma State in Stillwater, but, I mean, San Antonio to Stillwater, it's not like it's, terribly far. It's not like it's, jet lag, whatever. But anyways, I'm going to go with the Roadrunners. If they can keep their offense that they had in week 1, if they had that same offense, if they can run that same offense, they can definitely put more points up against Oklahoma State. So I'm going to go with the Roadrunners there. And then we got Georgia Tech at Notre Dame, the most interesting game of the week. It has to be, other than probably the Ole Miss and Alabama game. Georgia Tech's offense, Justin Thomas, unbelievable quarterback, unbelievable offense. Everything they got going is incredible for Georgia Tech. And then you got Notre Dame. You lost Malik Zaire for the season. A terrible, terrible injury. It was gruesome to watch. But then you have a guy that I already forgot his name, but he is really good. And I just watched the game yesterday. How did I forget his name? You guys know what I'm talking about. 14. True freshman quarterback. He has got an arm. He can throw the freaking ball. He's got a pretty long windup, but honestly, the zip that he has is unbelievable. It truly is. And I'm looking forward to somehow watching this game. It's funny to say looking forward to somehow watching it, but I will somehow watch this game, and it is going to be exciting. I don't think Notre Dame's defense is honestly one of the best in college football so far this year, but they're going against an offense again in a short week after just playing a balanced offense against Virginia that they struggled with. Now you got still a high up-tempo offense in Georgia Tech, but it's that triple option, the slot T. And you got to be able to stop that. And again, a very short week. I think Jalen Smith is going to be leading, but I feel like there's going to be times he's going to be lost and making the wrong reads. And I don't blame him. I mean, again, it's very, very hard to play this offense, as we've seen with the points that Georgia Tech has been putting up. It's going to be a shootout, I really believe. I'm looking at a 40-35 type of victory, 38, somewhere around there. I'm picking Georgia Tech, and this should jump Georgia Tech pretty high with the victory over Notre Dame. Again, it's going to be a close game, but it's going to be a shootout. Watch this be the lowest scoring game of the week. But Georgia Tech, I believe, just has the offense again in the short week. See, Georgia Tech's defense, it's easy for them. They're going to prepare for the spread that, Notre Dame runs. You got a different quarterback, but you have a little bit of film, a good enough film on them. They can just, Virginia should have won that game last week anyways against Notre Dame. You had the DB who was just not even half a second too late on that jump around the 20, 30-yard line. Could have intercepted the ball. He swatted down. I mean, that's all he could do. I'm not blaming him for the loss. Actually, I think he was the one that actually got beat, so I guess you could still blame him for the loss. And then a few plays later, he's covering Will Fuller, who's an absolute boss, probably number one receiver in college football right now. The ball is going to go to him when you got an inexperienced quarterback, and he's like, all right, I got to find my top target. You don't even double coverage him. You have the safety, and if he was covering the post and he got the DB beat on the outside on the sideline, obviously the game was won by Will Fuller. So if Georgia Tech can just watch film on how to cover this guy, have over-the-top help and have the DB play, under him so that way any comeback routes can be picked, or, at least you got someone over the top. You just got to hope your safety does not get beat. I'm going Georgia Tech here. Enough about them, but it's going to be one of the best games of college football. It really is. It really, really is. Whether these teams lose every game after this is going to be one of the great games of college football this year. Then we got South Carolina at Georgia. I'm going with the Georgia Bulldogs. SMU at TCU. Now, my whole thing is, as a TCU fan, is Baylor has already played SMU week 1. SMU showed their offense is a complete 180 from last year. Last year, they, I think, only scored 9 points per game last year, I believe. Somewhere around that. I'm not exaggerating. Seriously, it was that bad. This year, they have been putting up some, not high points. I think they scored, 30-something last week. And then the week before that, when they played Baylor, they scored 21. But they showed a glimpse of what could happen 2 to 3 years from now. And with a little bit of recruiting, I mean, this offense can really fly. So, and especially with our defense, it's still it's not questionable. It's just, who are we? That's our question, is who is this defense? That is our question. There's no question about the talent we have, even with what we've lost. No question about it that we're still good. It's just, who are we? What type of defense are we? Are we a top 30? Are we a top 10? Because we can show glimpses that we can shut out players. It's just, trying to figure out who are we? What are we? But SMU is definitely going to be a tough test, and it's really going to be probably the biggest test just because of the fact that we're not going to play another team like Minnesota. Had Oklahoma stayed to their original offense they had in previous years, then we could say, okay, well, Minnesota's just like Oklahoma. They're running the ball and stuff, and they'll still run the ball, but they've spread it out now, thanks to Lincoln Riley. So SMU's offense is really what we're going to see the rest of the year. Just SMU's less experience with it. That's why TCU, of course, will win this game. My biggest thing is we got to score more points than Baylor did on them, and we got to hold SMU, which is going to be the hard part, under 21 points. We can't give up more than 21, which is going to be tough because we lost another safety due to an injury. It's going to be tough. Obviously, still going with my TCU Frogs here, keeping that iron skillet. And thankfully, this rivalry is going to be coming back I don't hate SMU as much as I hate Baylor and Texas Tech, even though I think you're supposed to, because SMU is a big rival. It's our biggest rival, technically, with the Iron Skillet. But, I have respect for SMU, and I'm glad Chad Morris is really doing something good there. I hope SMU gets just a tad bit better, but they still suck when we played them. But other than that, I hope they get better and start winning, going to some more bowl games and picking some stuff up, because, you never know with SMU. But, of course, going with my TCU Frogs here. Then you got Stanford at USC. I'm going with, of course, USC. Stanford's offense is garbage. Kevin Hogan, who are you? You are a Rose Bowl winner. You have beaten Oregon in Eugene. I'm pretty sure you beat USC before. I don't know. But you have shown a glimpse of a great quarterback. This year, you have shown signs of a bench player. I don't know why you're this bad. David Shaw, please fire the offensive coordinator if you don't score more than 20 points in this game. Because Stanford is not a bad team. They're just playing very poorly. I don't know why. Because they're not bad. They're not bad. Stanford, there's no way you drop off as much as they have right now because of players. I think they still have talented players. I know they lost some wide receivers, due to eligibility and going to the NFL and Ty Montgomery. But there's no way you're this bad. It just can't be. But I'm going with USC. I think Cody Kessler, I wouldn't be surprised if there was another 4 or 5 touchdown game and probably becomes the number one, the favorite Heisman contender. Boykin doesn't look like it right now, and it's fine. The less Heisman hype we have is fine by me until we get to the bowl games and stuff, or until we get late in the season. That's fine. I don't want it early right now because we had too many problems at TC with our defense trying to figure out what we are. So I hope Cody Kessler has a huge game and boost his Heisman talk for him, so that way it's off of Boykin. Ole Miss at Alabama. Ole Miss has put up 70 points, over 70 points in the first 2 games. Of course, one of them was the FCS team, and then last week against a team that just slipped off on Fresno State, which surprisingly, shocked me. So Ole Miss is good, but they haven't played a defense like Alabama, and Alabama hasn't played an offense like Ole Miss. It's going to be a very tough game. I'm going with Bama just because it's at Alabama. It's a weird kickoff time, and Alabama has a lot of talent. And Ole Miss, I think you kind of screwed yourself playing a lot weaker opponents. I know Alabama hasn't played anybody too tough, but they have played Wisconsin, and they did a pretty good job against them. So we'll just have to see. But again, Wisconsin's offense isn't like, Ole Miss and what they have done. Chad Kelly doing a good job over there. Going with Bama here. But, and this is a weird part, like, if Alabama loses, TCU goes up to number 2. Awesome. Yay. But that could mean Ole Miss jumps pretty high, and then that becomes a problem. But I guess for ranking purposes, I would like to see Ole Miss win, but I just think Alabama has too much. Derrick Henry is going to slow this defense down of Ole Miss, and just give it to Derrick Henry. That's all you got to do. BYU at UCLA. Going with UCLA. No more magic for BYU. They haven't run into a team like UCLA, and UCLA is about to tear it up in California. Going with UCLA. Utah at Fresno State. Going with Utah just because Utah's a lot better than Fresno State. That plain and simple. And then finally, last game, Northern Arizona at Arizona. Boy. What a tough game to pick. Yeah. Going with Arizona. And I think we seriously have one news of NFL. And that Seattle Seahawks defensive end Michael Bennett said Thursday that while he holds no ill towards Pro Bowl safety Cam Chancellor and even supports him during his holdout, Chancellor's absence has clearly been felt. This is what, again, Seahawks defensive end Michael Bennett said Thursday. Quote, "We miss Cam Chancellor, not just the way he plays, but the way that he approaches the game, his leadership. Even though Cam Chancellor wasn't in the game, we had multiple chances of winning that game. I wonder, would the conversation be the same if we won? would people be saying, hey, they don't need Cam Chancellor? And so it's all about the wins and the losses in this league. Head coach Pete Carroll said Wednesday that the only way for Chancellor's situation to be resolved is for Chancellor to show up. And that's, not going to happen. One reason the Seahawks don't appear ready to meet Chancellor's demands is because of the precedent that it could set, given that there are 3 years left on his contract. But back to Bennett. Bennett said that he thought about holding out this summer, but ultimately decided to show up. But Bennett said the circumstances surrounding his life and his career weren't the same. Saying, quote, "At the end of the day, my situation is different than his. I've got 3 kids. I've got a wife. My wife wouldn't let me hold out, so I had to come to work. And his situation is different from mine. I respect what he's doing, but I know he respects what I'm doing too. I just come back and try to work as hard as I can to show the team the type of leader I am and the type of person that I am and willing to do and how far I'm willing to go when I'm playing in the games." So strong words by Michael Bennett, very serious Michael Bennett, but it's like I just don't understand it. I've already talked about Cam Chancellor's situation. I'll just real quick, short and sweet. I'll say it again. You have 3 years left on your deal. 3 freaking years. Solid pay. Really good pay. Yes, you deserve more money. There's no doubt about that. You were the best safety in the game. But you have 3 years left. You can play while still trying to negotiate. It's not like you have a year left and you're trying to, have security down the line. You have 3 years. If you get hurt, they're not going to just trade you. They're not going to release you. You just signed a deal 2 years ago. Why hold out now? It doesn't make any sense. If you want more money, show up, play. You have 3 years left on your deal. You have a year or 2 to get a deal done. Stop rushing it. You're getting paid good amount of money. If you screwed up with pain, buying other things and you're in a hole, that's your fault, not the Seahawks and not anybody else. Go out there and pay. He's already lost $2 million in game money. So you needed money? There you go. And you lost it. That's just my thing. I love Cam Chancellor, but each and every week and each and every day, I'm losing a little bit of respect towards him. It's ridiculous in his situation that he's holding out. It doesn't make any sense. And I get you can say oh, you don't know what he's going through in life, dude. I would love to switch spots with you if you want to. I love to switch spots and make the money you make, and still play in the NFL. Trust me. Millions of people would love to switch spots with Cam Chancellor, but apparently making another million or two, is make or break if you want to play. Apparently that's a big thing nowadays. You're already making a couple, 100,000, a few $100,000, but hey, that's not a lot of money, right? Yeah. Anyways, last week I went 11-4 in picking games. 11-4. Excuse me. The Browns have announced that Johnny Manziel will start against the Titans. Johnny freaking football will start, ladies and gentlemen. This is breaking news. This is from Ian Rappaport of NFL Network, NFL.com. It is official. The Browns announced that quarterback Johnny Manziel will start against the Tennessee Titans. I might change my pick now. I might just change my pick. No, Browns defense is absolutely garbage. There you go, guys. That is official. I'm going to tweet it right now, too. I got to tweet that. The Browns announced that quarterback Johnny Manziel will start against the Titans. There you go, guys. Follow me on Twitter, too, ding. All right, here we go. So, again, I went 11-4 last week again in my picks. The picks that I got wrong, I'll go through them real quick. I picked Seattle. I picked Cleveland. I picked New Orleans. And I picked Minnesota. Again, you could hear that last week's show. Download the podcast at iHeartRadio and iTunes.com and Stitcher Radio. And even here on Spreaker, I forgot, you can download the podcast here on Spreaker.com. You can listen live and download it. How amazing is that, guys? And here we go. So week 2 of NFL. We went through week 3 already for college football. This is week 2 of the NFL. This is what we got. The San Diego Chargers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Very tough game. How the Chargers came back down 21-10 and win this game against the Detroit Lions. Our defense is very suspect right now. We're bad, but we're good at the same time. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Going with the San Diego Chargers here just because of past history with the Cincinnati Bengals. Even though it's on the road in Cincinnati, I hope Dalton has a great game, and he should, the way our defense looked in the first half against the Lions. But I'm going with the San Diego Chargers. I can't go against my team. The Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. I am going with the Dallas freaking Cowboys. Why? I need someone to tell me. Why are the Philadelphia Eagles, who absolutely looked terrible against the Atlanta Falcons, how are they favored against the Cowboys? Now, I understand the Cowboys made some mistakes, but the Eagles secondary is garbage. Byron Maxwell, there's a reason you were a supporting player in the Seattle Seahawks system in the defense. There was a reason why. You are now the starting cornerback. You are the guy, and you were torched, absolutely torched by Julio Jones. You're lucky you don't play Des Bryant this week. But Terrence Williams is pretty freaking good. Devin Street, I believe this is his breakout game. Cole Beasley, he's going to be out there as well. Dallas Cowboys will get this victory. I know there's a lot of talk about DeMarco Murray. I think everybody else except for the Dallas Cowboys is talking about DeMarco Murray and is worrying about DeMarco Murray. I think the Cowboys are over it. They're happy with what they got and who they're working with. And if DeMarco Murray scores a rushing touchdown, everybody else except for the Dallas Cowboys and their circle is caring about DeMarco Murray and if he scores a touchdown or not. They don't care. They don't care. But everybody else does, and they're trying to make a story about that. I'm going with the Cowboys. I think this is a 34-17 type victory for the Cowboys. I honestly do, and I'm going to stick with it. This goes everywhere. I'll tweet it too before the game to let everybody know. And I'm not a fanboy. I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'm a Chargers fan. Probably should be a Cowboys fan because they have more rings. But the Cowboys will get this victory. Even though they made their own mistakes against the Giants are a better team than the Falcons, who they actually play each other. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. But the Cowboys are a more complete team than the Eagles. Again, I know this is on the road. It's good for the Cowboys that it's early in the season that it's on the road, because then they come back later in the year and have it at home when it will matter. But if the Cowboys win this game, which I believe they will, that puts them 2-0 and 2-0 in the NFC East, against NFC East opponents, against big-time opponents. Washington's going to suck. So this will be huge. This is a huge game for the Cowboys. And Eagles, they're just trying to find a spot to stay alive. But again, I am going with the Dallas Cowboys. 35-21 victory. There's your score, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. That's all I got to say. That's it. Seattle Seahawks at Green Bay. That is, Sunday night's games. That's one of the last games. But the way I had it written down, that was just how it is. I'm going with the Seahawks. I think they bounce back. I know it's at Green Bay, but I'm going with the Seahawks. I can't see them being down 0-2 early in the season. And people forget the Rams have the best defense in the NFL. So, and the Rams are getting better. I don't understand why people still make fun of and trash the Rams. I'm not trying to defend the Seahawks. I'm serious. The Rams are very, very good. They should compete for a playoff spot this year. But I think if the Rams were somehow in the NFC North or the NFC South, well, if they were in the NFC South, Rams easily win that division. There's no way they lose to the Saints or Buccaneers or the Panthers or the Falcons. Rams would win it. they're just in a really bad spot being in the NFC West where the 49ers look pretty solid. The Seahawks, obviously, being back-to-back Super Bowl appearances and winning one of them. And then, Arizona Cardinals being pretty good. That kind of hurts them a little bit. But, Rams are good. I'm going with the Seahawks here. I'm looking at a 24-21 victory, field goal. Steven Hauschka gets it. Going with the Seahawks. Houston at Carolina. Houston looks absolutely garbage. They look like trash. And I'm going with the Carolina Panthers to get this victory. 49ers at Pittsburgh. We're going to come back to that game because I don't know who to pick. I have my little notebook right here, my little notepad of my picks. I don't know who to pick there. We'll come back to that. Tampa Bay at New Orleans. Going with New Orleans. If you have Drew Brees, start him. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense is garbage. Just absolutely terrible. Going with the Saints. James Winston, it's going to get better for you. I promise. Detroit Lions versus the Men. Actually, back to Tampa Bay real quick. James Winston, his first pass was a pick six. You know who's the last quarterback to start a game and his first play was an interception? Peyton freaking Manning. Yeah, not going to lie. No, I'm sorry. That's a lie. It was Brett Favre, excuse me. Brett Favre's first pass in the NFL was an interception. I don't know if it was a pick six or not, but I know it was an interception. Jameis Winston's first pass was a pick six. It wasn't obviously an interception. It's going to get better, Tampa Bay fans. You can't really get any worse, so it's okay. Detroit at Minnesota, going with Detroit Lions here. Arizona at Chicago. Arizona, shockingly, very, very good. Just absolutely dominated the Saints and did whatever they wanted to. So I'm going with the Detroit Lions here. All right, skip Detroit Lions. Hello, wrong game. Arizona Cardinals. New Orleans. Come on, Daniel. Enough with New Orleans and Detroit. New England at Buffalo. No one, and I mean no one, circles the wagon like the Buffalo freaking Bills, guys. Going with the Buffalo Bills here. Tyrod Taylor, absolute beast. And Percy Harvin, wow. I'm glad you didn't get a migraine after that touchdown. Got pretty loud over there. Going with the Buffalo Bills to get the victory. Tennessee at Cleveland. Johnny Manziel is now the starting quarterback for the Tampa. God, I'm done. I'm out. See you guys later. Why am I struggling with the teams? Maybe it's a sign. No, I was joking. Johnny Manziel, starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. His first pass last week was a 54-yard dime of a pass to Travis Benjamin for a touchdown. But somehow the Browns defense, I honestly thought Browns defense was going to be very underrated and one of the best in the league. Honestly, top 5 defense. I really, really thought. Obviously, that was just week 1. They have a long ways to go. But when you give up 31 points to the New York Jets, who don't have a quarterback other than early Santa Claus and Ryan Fitzpatrick, that's a bad sign. That's a very bad sign. And Marcus Mariota, 4 touchdown passes in the first half. That probably means it's because, Buccaneers are just that bad. Marcus Mariota, very, very well. Very, very good. Cleveland, you struggle against a no-name quarterback. Now you got Marcus Mariota. I'm going to Tennessee Titans. Johnny Manziel, just please do very good for me, please. Atlanta at New York against the Giants. I'm going with the New York Giants here. I just can't see them going 0-2, especially at home against the Falcons. I know the Falcons did a good job, but they also let the Philadelphia Eagles come back in it. Giants have more weapons than the Eagles do. Got to go with the Giants here. St. Louis at Washington. Why is Washington even playing? Going with the Rams. Miami at Jacksonville. Going with the Miami Dolphins. Baltimore at Oakland. Going with Baltimore. And Monday night game, New York Jets on the road against Indianapolis Colts. Going with the Indianapolis Colts. Yes, sir. Those are my picks. I have them all saved down here. I will, and obviously you already heard them, so it's not like I could change them now. And unless a huge injury happens, I'll tweet it, though. Again, follow me on Twitter at @short_sports247. Link is down below. And, we have one more game. 49ers in Pittsburgh. I didn't pick it. Damn, this is hard. Since it's in Pittsburgh, I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. 49ers look pretty freaking good. Everything they lost, they look good. Kaepernick's still off, though. He was very off. But I am going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, their defense, 49ers defense, really good. But, man, the Pittsburgh Steelers are really missing Le'Veon Bell and Martavius Bryant. But I will see you guys next week. That is it for the end of the show. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, thank you guys so much for your support. Honestly, it means a lot. Going through a ton of stuff right now, starting school again. I'm taking more classes, and I'm officially a sophomore, guys. I will be a sophomore Monday, which is awesome. I'm going with that. I'm hoping the University of Miami will give me some. I don't know. I can't get a scholarship, but I hope they help me out financially with financial aid or something. I'm going, possibly transferring there, but I gotta hope they help me out because I can't pay $60,000 a year. That's ridiculous. But hopefully they help me out a little bit. And school is crazy. I got work and I have everything else. But your support goes a long ways. It helps me out when I see. I don't know if you guys can look at them too. I don't know if it shows publicly or not, but when I look at the ratings for the show, and I see it grow each and every week from all the different sources that my show's on, because it shows Spreaker that thankfully you guys are showing it. At first, Spreaker was like, even though this is where my show is recorded on, it was one of my lowest. It was above YouTube, but it was one of my lowest listeners. Now it's one of the highest. Stitcher Radio has helped me out a ton. iHeartRadio continues to grow. iTunes continues to grow. YouTube is surprisingly not the one that's growing, which I really thought YouTube was going to be the biggest one. But it hasn't. But it's fine. It's fine. But I just want to say thank you guys so much. You guys, you don't know how much it means to me knowing that I'm not doing this show for like 3 people. 3 people still matter. It still matters. But to know that you guys truly enjoy the show, that you guys continue to share it out with your friends and family, no matter what social media it is, you guys continue to do it for me. I see it. Trust me, I see it. And I just want to say thank you, guys. I just want to say thank you. I truly appreciate it. It means a ton to me. I love all of you guys. And I will see you guys this upcoming Monday. Again, the Short Sports Show this Monday morning. It's going to be early, too. It's going to be like a 8 a.m. show. It's going to be very, very early. Sorry we were a little late today. That was my fault. I woke up really late. I don't know why. I didn't stay up that late, but I just was lazy, I guess. My voice is now, I'm losing my voice now. I did this for an hour. This wasn't supposed to be an hour. I didn't prepare for an hour. But anyways, guys, thank you so much. It truly does mean a lot. I love every single one of you. I will see you guys this Monday morning, the Short Sports Show. Follow me on Twitter at @short_sports247. And I'm out. As always, God first, God bless. I'm out. Peace.